Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to share with you a couple different ways that we process our apples. So we're going to be making applesauce and dehydrated apples. So first we're going to be making the applesauce. And this is one of the ways that we cut our apples. So we leave the peels on for this method, and then we're going to cut out any blemishes. So these apples are from our orchard, so they have blemishes, wormholes, different bruising and that sort of thing. When we're making our applesauce, we like to use a couple different types of apples just to get the best flavor. Some varieties are a little softer, some are a little harder. It's good to mix a couple different varieties together. This is our large canning pot. What we did was we flipped over the canning rack and we covered it with tin foil, poked some holes in it, and put some water in the bottom just to steam the apples. So if you do have a steamer, that would work better, but this was a bit of an experiment. So we just dump all the apples into the pot and we're just gonna steam them until they get soft. So this is the food mill that uses a hand crank to push the apples through a perforated plate. This food mill processes everything from apples to tomatoes to potatoes. It also does blackberries and raspberries as well. So that's how you take it apart and put it back together. It's really easy. So now our apples are a little bit overcooked. They got away on us. So if you were to do this, do it just for a little less time. And then we're going to spoon them into the food mill. So this method is very useful because there's very little waste. You use the hand crank and you do it one way, and then you do it the opposite direction, and all that's left are just the peels. We have tried 3 different food mills, and this food mill has been our favorite so far. There's a couple of reasons for that. It's nice and sturdy, so when you're holding onto it, it's easy to turn back and forth. It also comes with 3 interchangeable stainless steel discs, so it comes in fine, medium, and coarse. So the little holes at the bottom there can be smaller or bigger depending on what you're using it for. So this is the end result. We add a little bit of cinnamon and sugar to taste, and I'll add a link to the food mill in the description below. So next we're going to show you how we make our dehydrated apples. So this is our apple peeler slicer, and it can be used for potatoes as well. You can move the coring and slicing blade, and then it can be used for potatoes. We also use it for pears as well. This is a very, very useful tool. It just suction cups to the counter, and then we use a big bowl underneath the counter just to drop all of the extra peels and that sort of thing. And it's also quite messy, so the apple juices spray everywhere. So you just put a big bowl underneath the counter and it holds a lot of the mess. Also, I will link this peeler in the description below if you're interested. So while we're peeling our apples, we also have the crock pot on. Any of the apples that are not going to be going into the dehydrator go into the crock pot. It can make a nice chunkier applesauce, more for pie filling and that sort of thing. After we peel the apples, we are going to cut out any blemishes, just like the other method. This is our dehydrator. It has 12 trays. You can use any dehydrator that you have. There's lots of different dehydrators. Some have 4 trays, 6 trays. They're all different. We bought a big dehydrator just so that we could do a big batch all at once. It does take quite a while in a dehydrator. It takes about 11 hours for apples to be cooked. With the dehydrator, you can also use it for other things. You can make beef jerky, you could do herbs, corn, carrots, tomatoes, peppers, onions. You can make onion powder as well. And now we're going to add the apples to the trays. And we just dust a little bit of cinnamon on top just to taste. You're welcome to add more or less, depending on what you like. On the bottom of all the trays, he has a cookie sheet. Collect all the excess cinnamon. He puts it into a bowl, and that bowl has all the random pieces that he's not going to be using in the dehydrator. So he puts them into the crock pot, puts it on a medium heat, and leaves it going until the desired texture. It's usually a chunkier sauce. It's great for apple pie filling and that sort of thing. You can always freeze it in ziplock bags or wide mouth mason jars. So now we're going to add the trays to the dehydrator and set it at 140 for 11 hours. We've also done this same method, but had the temperature at 135, and it made more of a soft texture to the apple. So now we have a little bit of both. We purchased this dehydrator from Cabela's, and again, the link will be in the description. So this is the end result. Our apples are a little bit crunchy, so it's more like an apple chip. So this is how we store our apples, just in a Ziploc bag, or you can put them in a food saver bag as well. You can just use a vacuum sealer, just cut the bag to size, and then you seal one side, pop the apples in, seal the other side, and vacuum seal it. And then we've put it in small portion sizes and freeze it. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. There's 3 different ways that you can use your apples, and if you have any more ideas, let me know and we can make another video. See you next time.